9th of August 25, it's Saturday. 2 days ago there was three council by-elections. I'm just looking at them from a reform perspective, actually from a Overton window perspective on one issue. And I see reform as the vote for that. Advance UK as well, probably more so. I don't believe in the party hamper system, but that's who I'd be voting for just now, away from the left, traditionally from the left. Even though I don't really think of myself as a left. I don't identify with the people or whatever. A lot of my policies, especially economics, would be sort of left. Not in the way they say though. Say something like basic income, I think it should be looked at. But I'm just saying, I've switched to Overton window on one issue, and reform is a protest vote for that Overton window change. So I'm just looking at these three. Google Gemini wasn't very good for these results. Uh, when I say that, what I mean is didn't really give very good info. So there was one someplace Llangollen in Wales. I think it's near Cardiff or Swansea. I think it's near Swansea. And I think it was a former left area. Reform have trounced that victory. They really won it. They won it a bit. I think they got about 43% or something. And it was formerly a two-ward area. It was Labour and Plaid Cymru traditionally. I think about 39% of the people there can speak Welsh language. I don't know. I'll show you the Google Gemini info I got. But this sounds like a big change to me. I don't know why. I don't know if they've got a hotel that's been used in a different way recently or something like that. Don't know. But it's good to see. From looking at Wales in general, it looks as if they've totally shifted away from, definitely from Labour. It looks like Plaid Cymru are still sort of, it's neck and neck between them and Reform in a way, with Reform slightly ahead for the Senate next year. But to me personally, I think they'll all go Reform. I think. And then there was another seat in Durham. Durham seems to have totally gone Reform over the last 1, 2, 3 years. And in this one, the Reform guy, for some reason, gave it up. I don't know why. Don't know if it was ill health or what. Because he only won it recently, I think. But they've held it from Labour. It was a former Labour. I don't know if it's former Labour actually. I need to check that. I'm guessing it would be. I think the North East has totally gone to Reform. So over the last few months, actually, even last year, last 2 years, I think a lot of these are Northern Wall areas. I don't know, but which went back to Labour for the election last year, and I don't know why. So yeah, Reform have got that, and then there was one in Cannock Chase, which I think was traditionally a Tory area, and that's went to Reform as well. So I'll have a look at what Google Gemini tells me about these areas. Gemini was a bit of a mess, so I had to ask it to check again. I didn't get the results right. And here's the results. Llangennach Ward, Carmarthenshire County Council. Because these council by-elections are a great chance for the public to, especially in an Overton window issue, to protest vote. And here we've got it. I mean, this one in Wales had a turnout of nearly 40%, which is unbelievable. There's a winner for Reform. They gained it from Labour. Labour won it. This seat's only existed since 2022. Before that, I think it was a two-seat ward, and it was traditionally Labour and Plaid Cymru who would win it. So it's going to Reform. I say on a one issue, Overton window, fantastic. And for it to be so high, I mean, I don't really understand that. So Reform gained it from Labour Party, marking a significant change in the ward's political landscape. And the second one was in Cannock Chase, and I see there was a protest there today about a hotel. I don't know, in Cannock anyway, I don't know if this is anything to do with this. Turnout 16%, I mean, that's shockingly bad. Like I say, we've got an archaic electoral system that's not really that democratic. They just, the politicians don't seem to be interested in updating it, because this voting should be on a Saturday and Sunday. It should be e-voting, because we hold it on a Thursday when the workers are working. We hold it on a working day. So workers are working. For the likes of pensioners and unemployed, it might be a big day out. So they're influencing who the local politician is in a big way. It'd be interesting to see how many of these voters are workers, you know. I mean, who wants to work, say maybe to 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock or whatever, and then have to go out and vote? And like I say, it should be postal voting at least, but we should be on to e-voting, where you can vote to the last second. And I think actually Imran Khan was going to bring that in for overseas, of people who maybe had great grandparents associated with the country. He was going to let them e-vote. Well, he was going to let them vote, first of all. Then he was going to e-vote, let it be an e-vote. But then he was overthrown by the new government. I don't know if they're democratic or what, but they've put him in jail and they've cancelled all that. I think the idea was that Imran Khan has a lot of support overseas, and this is why he was maybe doing that. I don't know, actually, you know. And if you had great grandparents associated with the country, you could vote. Apparently, I think it was called. If you had a NICOP card or something, NICOP, you can look it up in Gemini and stuff, you know. So this is what we should be having: e-voting. You know, if politicians cared about the democratic system, that's how it would be. I'm sure all politicians do online banking, but for voting, they expect you to commit one day, especially Reform, ironically. And so, and there we go. Reform won it. Can't chase award. This was another game for Reform UK, who won the seat from the Labour Party. So forget me talking about the Tory. That was from info he gave me earlier, which was wrong, it seems. So this was a Labour area as well. It's went to Reform. And then finally, Reform UK won again. Turnout 21%, you know, it's really low, but that's typical for a council by-election. As I say, the politicians aren't interested in you really voting. Reform UK successfully gained a seat from the Labour Party with a large majority over the second place Labour candidate. I think this was actually a hold, but Reform only won it from Labour, let's say, I don't know, a month or 2 months ago or something. In total, Reform UK won all 3 council by-elections held on August 7th, 2025. First, I'm looking at the Wales seat. Who has won the seat the last 10 times? It turns out there was a boundary change in 2022, but before that, and there's the result, Plaid Cymru were second, not far off. I think that the person that won it is maybe either the wife, or I don't know if it's he or she actually, of some guy who won a seat for Reform recently. I don't know though, you don't quote me. And there's Labour were in third with 380 votes. Lib Dems 26 votes. The Tories 14 votes. Prior to this, it was a 2-seat ward. In 2017, the seats were won by Labour and Plaid Cymru. But there was a boundary change, so they couldn't tell me. But I'm guessing it was really a left area. And I looked at the demographics. Didn't really tell me much. The population's increased. So I think this is unusual, really, apart from one issue that makes your area increase, really, in Britain now. Because I think naturally every area would probably go down if it was just, but something's changed and it's everywhere's increasing. So maybe this explains it. Over the last, well, what's that? That was 8 years between 2011 and 2019. It increased, well, just by 200 or something, but still, you'd expect it to go down, really. Welsh speakers, 2011, 40%. In 2001 it was 46.8. I hope this is the right word I'm looking at. I don't know. It's saying it's 97.7% Welsh, you could say there, but I don't think that's 2011 as well, so that's maybe changed. It's not telling me really. I'll just ask it if the demographics changing. Between 2011 to 2021, the population increased. Oh well, Carmarthenshire. Llangennech itself saw a modest increase. Yeah. Well, just 150 say or something like that. Maybe 200. But still unusual, you'd expect it to decrease probably. Declining Welsh speakers. Well, for Carmarthenshire, used to be 44% in 2011. Now it's in 2021 it was about 40%. And remember that's 4 years ago now. Increase in no religion. From 2011 it was 30%, no 29%. 2021 it was 45%. And country of birth, it's decreased from 76% in 2011, so this might be giving us a bit of a clue, to 73.8% in 2021. But, don't know. More 2021 data never really told me. Oh, this is percentage born in Wales. This isn't even the area. Sorry about that. It's not really telling me anything actually. How poor? I wondered how poor the ward is. It's saying it's not that poor. Llangennech. Generally non-deprived. The average weekly wage is significantly lower than the Welsh national average, although it has a high level of employment. Many are in low-wage jobs. And it's talking about Carmarthenshire, really. Doesn't really tell me anything. It's not considered one of the most deprived wards in Wales, or even within Carmarthenshire. However, it does experience some levels of deprivation. Would reform winning a seat be a change in vote pattern? Yes. It's a gain from Labour. The Labour councillor passed away, and it's a notable shift in the ward's political allegiance. Llangennech was a two-seat ward. In 2017 it was won by Labour and Plaid Cymru. So reform is a new thing there. The results show a substantial drop in the vote share for both Labour and Plaid Cymru. In the 2025 by-election, Reform UK won 694 votes, while Plaid, yeah, we know that. Okay. Then I asked it, they got this wrong. These three. Then I asked it about Carrick, Chase and Durham, and that's where they were. So I'll look at the other two now. Check again, yeah. This is the Carrick Chase ward. I'm just looking at the previous history of the last 10 winners. You know, it's not going to be totally correct, but it looks like it's switched from Labour to Tory. So there's been a lot of seats. 2015 Tory, 2017 Labour, 2018 Labour, 2019 Tory, 22 Tory, 23 Labour. Don't ask me why. And now Reform. It's important to note that the council holds elections in a 4-year cycle, with a third of the council seats up for election each time. so I don't know really. Don't know why there's so many there. I do believe this is a Hednesford ward. Yeah. Population is around about 6.9 thousand. It says it's predominantly that way, but that was 2021 probably. Religion is largest at 50%, and 44% say no religions, which I take to be a good thing. So that would be what, 94% of the population? I don't know. High rate of economic activity. Average household income 40.9k, that sounds pretty good. Most popular transport for commuting is a car or van. It has a higher than average proportion of children living in relatively low income families, and a significant number of residents considered to be financially stressed. I don't know. I'm just looking at the demographic change from 2011 to 2021. That's all we have from the census, really. It's growing, so there we go, it's increased by 3.1%. Well, we're talking about Cannock Chase here, actually. Well, the area's growing. Biggest change is Christianity's gone right down, and no religion's gone up. No religion went from 23% to 41%. I think it's talking about Cannock Chase here. It's fallen from 95.7% to 93.6%. But then this isn't including the Boris waves as well. So it doesn't really tell me anything. I've never paused it there. I was maybe paused. I know this is a mess. It's early days. Their victories. So they won all those seats from Labour. I'm not sure that's correct. One of them was Reform. Disenchantment with established parties, the rise of Reform, Labour struggles. Low turnout. No, that's typical for council by-elections. Local factors, that's what I really wanted to know, but it never really told me. And I noticed that there was a protest today at a hotel in Cannock, and apparently it's 1.9 miles from the ward. So maybe this had something to do with it, because the turnout was 40%. Is it this one? No, that was in Wales. The turnout was 40%, so it wasn't this one. I just wonder if that was a factor. I've just asked about the Durham seats, the last 10 winners, to get an idea if it was a Labour area. Yeah, it was a strong Labour area, but the recent by-election marked a significant change in the voting pattern. Yeah, Reform just won it. Looks like, yeah, May the 1st, 25. I think Reform won that one. So, in 21, it was a two-seat division in this election, and Labour won both seats. In 17, it was a two-seat, I'm presuming, and Labour won both. In 13, two-seat, and Labour won both. So, really, it's been a total Labour area. I'm just asking why Reform won. The disintegration of the red wall, Google Gemini is saying. Easington and Shotton is a traditional red wall seat, a term used for constituencies in former industrial areas of North England that historically voted Labour. Reform UK's win here, along with the other gains from Labour in recent by-elections, suggest that this traditional support base for the Labour Party is continuing to erode. A protest vote against the mainstream. Reform UK's populist platform. Personally, I think you should be voting in one issue. Possibly the country is going to become a place where nobody wants to live, nobody at all. I'm talking about everyone who's a British citizen and who's about to be given citizenship. Everyone. We don't know, but I think we're taught it's going to be a utopia. Possibly. You may not think that. So everyone's going to be unhappy, not just groups of people, everyone. And so at the moment you've got a protest vote, Overton window vote chance. Reform or advance, basically, especially if you live in an area where you've voted Labour, SNP, Plaid Cymru, Lib Dem, Greens, etc. traditionally. So low turnout, yeah. Local factors, yeah, this is the thing, we don't know. I don't really know. I'm not really getting that much info from this. But that'll do me for today, so I apologise I wasn't that much good info. Okay, goodbye.